welcome back. Okay, so in this video we are going to add a little bit more detail. So a couple of things I want to do is subdivide all of the different wood planks and then do a bevel, and I want to do a nice random bevel to the edges of this just to make it feel like it's a little worn and it's, you know, seen some action, stuff like that. So let's get started with that. So what I'm going to do is let's start back at the top here. So let's go to this end plank here and let's just start to update each of the planks. So the first thing that I want to do is I actually want to do an edge divide. So let's do an edge divide over here and we'll activate this guy, and I want to select some edges here and put them into this group that the edge divide is waiting for. So I'm going to hit this little arrow over here and that'll put me into this selection mode. And what I want to do is select all those edges there, just around the sides. All right, and you can see that it created the points for it. What we have to do is say connect points and then close path. Great. So what we can do now is increase the amount of divisions in that direction, like so. Okay. And what I want to do at this point now is bevel the edges. And it's nice now that we have all those subdivisions because we can actually produce a random bevel along all the points, and we need some more geometry in order to do that. So let's take care of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a group, and I'm going to call this bevel edges. And for this particular node, what I'm going to do is we're going to do it by the edge angle. All right, I'm going to have to set the group to edges so it does it appropriately. And right off the bat, we actually get a perfect selection of all the hard edges because I want to basically bevel all the hard edges for this particular box. So the defaults work just great. So if you were to change this, you would lose that stuff. So a value of 20 works pretty good. That's the minimum edge angle. So from there, what we can do is just put down a poly bevel node, and this will allow us to bevel the edges. So what I'm going to do is select that group because I just want to bevel those edges that we selected, and we'll just add some distance to this. So I'm going to use the value ladder here, and I don't want the extra subdivision there. Cool. There we go. So we got all set up there. Now what I want to do is randomize the offset on a per point basis there. So in order to do that, we're going to use an attribute randomize. There you go. And instead of the color, we're just going to say rand bevel. And I just need one value for this. So the min value is going to be something like 0.5 and the max will be something like 0.25. Like so. And then we'll go to this poly bevel and the offset scale, I believe. Also we'll put that into rand bevel. Nope. It is the point scale. There we go. So now you can see that we have a random bevel along the edges. It just makes it feel more realistic. Cool. So I'm going to now input that into this merge. And that basically gives us a nice bevel around those guys and some more geometry as well. So let's go and do it for the end support. So this time, instead of using that edge divide, so I'm really trying to show you guys, you know, a bunch of different ways of doing things. What we can do is we can switch this over to a polygon mesh for these guys, and we can control the divisions this way, right? So we can have one division there, one division there, and that's pretty good just like that. And then you can just expose this parameter to add divisions, but I don't really think we're going to need more than that, so that is pretty good just like that. And what I want to do is basically the same thing. I just want to do this bevel edges over and over again, right? And it'll basically go and get the edge group selection for us. So what we can do is we can actually put this into what they call subnet. So I'm going to select all the nodes that I want to repeat over and over again. I don't want to have to create these nodes over and over again. So what I'm going to do is select all the nodes and hit Shift C, and that puts it into a subnet. And so I'm going to give it a name, just say random. We'll say rand bevel edge for the name. And what I can do is I can just copy this now, and voila, we just perform the same operations. on the end supports. Okay, so now we have those guys. More resolution, beveled edges. Cool, so now all we really need to do is just do that same thing for everything else. So there's the create side plank right here. Cool. So what I'm going to do again is turn this into polygon mesh, and we don't need all the divisions in the X direction here. So we just need the 1 or 2. And I actually kind of like, we'll just do the 1 down the middle for this, and then maybe we'll add a couple extras for this. You could expose all these, right? So you can change the resolution on the fly. All right, so then I'm going to paste down that rand bevel edge, and there we go. Cool. So now we're starting to reuse our work, so we don't have to constantly do the same things over and over and over again. One of the great benefits of using Houdini for your modeling, for your prop modeling. Okay, so let's go and do the rest of these guys at the top plank. Again, we'll switch this over to a polygon mesh, and we don't need the Y divisions, and the X divisions will just be 2. I'll change the divisions there. And I'll just paste the rand bevel edge. There we go. Perfect. All right, so then we're going to do it again for this guy. Switch it over to polygon mesh, and we'll change the Y to 2 and our Z is 2 or 3. And then we want a little bit more in the X direction. Paste our rand bevel subnet. And there we go. All right, so let's take a look. See what we got. Cool. All right, so the last thing I want to do is in this normal node, I'm just going to kind of cusp the edges a little bit more. Now we're starting to get something that is starting to feel like a real prop. Okay, so in the next video, what I want to do is I want to kind of damage this up a little bit, right? Right now it's way too straight and uniform. I just want to give it some life. And to do that, we're going to start to utilize some noises for this and take advantage of all that extra geometry that we put in here. So we're just going to kind of perturb some of the surfaces and stuff like that. All right, so let's move on. Thanks so much.